Race remains a significant challenge in our country. So I have, ever since the first day of my campaign, called for criminal justice reform.
There are people who are on the streets and involved in this movement who were there in '96 when the Welfare Reform Act was passed. They were there in 1994 when the Violent Crime Act was passed. They have a sense of how Clinton had a part in proliferating and spreading a lot of the problems that we're talking about now.
It's a very well thought out crime bill that is both smart and tough. And we will eventually get a good crime bill like the president has proposed. It'll just take a little longer than it should have.
In addition to what we saw, which is her speaking the talking points of the prison guards lobby, we also saw her come out to invoke the idea of super predators to push for these crime bills.
They are often the kinds of kids that are called super predators. No conscience, no empathy.
It was never used to describe anyone white. It was always used to describe young black men as a mass.
We cannot keep imprisoning more people than anybody else in the world.
Does no one else see the hypocrisy? Forget about super predators in the 1994 crime bill. When Hillary Clinton said this, she was actively using lobbyists from two major private prison companies to raise campaign cash. And she only stopped taking money from associates of the GEO Group and Corrections Corporations of America after Black Lives Matter and other activists confronted her. But even now, she has campaign staffers that lobby directly for GEO Group on her payroll.
So I think we've got we've got somebody saying here, we have to bring them
apologize for mass
to
incarceration.
heel. Okay, we'll talk
I'm
about
not a super predator, Hillary Clinton.
Okay, fine. Yeah, you want to hear the facts, you just want to talk. You know what? Nobody's ever asked me before. You're the first person to ask me, and I'm happy to address it, but you are the first person to ask me here. Okay, back to the issues.
He decided to profile Hispanics as drug dealers. Specifically, Arkansas troopers were to stop and search cars driven by Hispanics. Clinton's criminal apprehension program was ruled unconstitutional. Clinton's Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act of 1994, that legislation led to the mass incarceration of black Americans. Legal scholar Michelle Alexander notes, Bill Clinton presided over the largest increase in federal and state prison inmates of any president in American history. Alexander accused the Clintons of decimating black America and said Hillary does not deserve the black vote.
Protesters filled the streets of Chicago today rejecting Mayor Rahm Emanuel's apology for the fatal police shooting of 17-year-old Laquan McDonald.
This video and that death of Laquan McDonald happened before the election. What he did was cover up that information to conveniently be elected for mayor.
I don't understand, looking at the evidence that we now know is public, how any person, particularly a presidential candidate, could stand behind someone like Rahm Emanuel.